I guess since I'm already up here, I'll just keep going. So bonjour tout le monde. Je suis le témoin de Sarah, comme vous le savez. Malheureusement, je vais parler en anglais. Donc, as many of you know, I've known Sarah for a long time now, almost 16 years. In September. Oh, it is September, so 16 years. And in that time, I've learned a lot of things about Sarah. One of the first things that I learned about Sarah is that she's very creative. And we were about 16, so it was about a year after we had met. And she came to visit me in New York. I had like a hard-won internship at a magazine there, and she came to my office. And for some reason I had to go speak to my boss or go to a meeting or something, so I put her in my cubicle, and that was my first mistake. And I left her alone there for about half an hour. And when I came back, she had cut up a bunch of papers on my desk and made them into block letters of my name. So that was another thing I learned about Sarah is, you know, don't leave her alone with your stuff. So a few years later, when we were about 22, after college, Sarah and I moved to Australia. And so this was another opportunity for me to learn some things about Sarah. And I remember we were waiting on the tarmac, I think, in Los Angeles on the way to Australia. And I think we were delayed a little bit. So Sarah was trying to make the best of a bad situation, which is something that she does. So she was sort of trying to keep me occupied so that I wouldn't get too anxious, I guess. And so she was sort of testing my knowledge of some of the arcane trivia that she knows, you know, like how tennis balls are made or how many islands are in French Polynesia. And I guess she started to run out of things to say, so she came up with, do you know why most planes crash? The pilot falls asleep at the wheel. And then the plane took off for 15 hours to Melbourne. So another thing I learned about Sarah while we lived together in Australia for about 7 months was that she's very easy to be with. She used to wake me up after about six and a half hours of sleep in her very cheerful way, saying, "Uppity-bupty," and wonder how it was that my back didn't hurt from sleeping for so long. And she's also very frugal, so she would try to stretch our money and make sure that we split everything that we ate, including the ramen and the tins of beans. And if I ever said that I wanted to eat all of it myself, she'd be like, no, you don't want that. You just think you do. So I spent most of those 7 months starving and exhausted. But it is true that Sarah usually gave me the bigger half of whatever we split. So the reason I mention those things is that Sarah's sister-in-law recently asked Etienne what he loved most about Sarah. And he said, she's the most creative person I know. She always makes the best of a bad situation, and she's very easy to be with. And I knew when he said those things that he really understood her, and he loved her for the right reasons. But I also wanted to make sure that he really understood those things. So this is to Sarah, who is my left brain, and the person I love most in the world, notwithstanding blood relations, mom and dad. And to Etienne, who knew if he married Sarah, he'd be stuck with me, but he loved her so much that he did it anyway.